There is a reason you felt a pull to be here right now, a magnetic tug in the center of your chest that you could not ignore. From the very moment you opened your eyes this morning, there was likely a strange sensation moving through your spirit, a feeling that something is shifting, as if a distant voice is calling out to you from across a great silence. It is as if an invisible hand has gently touched your consciousness to tell you that the time for sleeping is over, and you can no longer ignore what is about to be revealed to you. It is no accident that you are hearing these words at this precise second in your timeline. There is something that was left specifically for you, a message that has your name marked on it in silence, and it is approaching with a force so profound that it has the power to completely alter the trajectory of your life. I urge you to share this message right now with someone who needs this light. Sharing this prophecy is a spiritual act that multiplies the favor upon your own life and extends the blessing to those who are lost in the dark. Even if your logical mind does not understand everything right now, your heart has already begun to sense the truth of it. We are speaking today about that person who disappeared from your life without a proper goodbye, without clear explanations, and without closing the cycle in the way you deserved. We are here to talk about the person who distance and time have tried to erase, but who remains etched in your soul. They left something behind, something that only you have the spiritual authority to receive, interpret, and activate. Before we go any further into this revelation, I need you to take a deep, conscious breath. What follows is not merely a story or a piece of advice. It is a spiritual activation that was destined to find you today. I ask you to stay with me until the very end, because if you leave now, you might miss the single key piece of understanding that you have been praying for during your darkest nights. That person who left, who took space, whom the world tried to convince you would no longer have any impact on your destiny, is actually still connected to your story in a way that neither you nor they could have imagined. There are souls that cross paths with yours, not by chance, but by divine purpose. And there are encounters that do not end simply because the physical presence has ceased. These connections remain vibrating in the deepest part of your spirit, humming with an energy that demands to be understood. What that person left for you, even if it seems mysterious, even if it feels incomplete, and even if it comes wrapped in the heavy blanket of silence, is full of spiritual truth. You must understand that God does not allow anything to reach your life without a profound intention, especially when it involves messages, signs, and emotional inheritances that push you to awaken to a new level of existence. Today, a spiritual door is opening right in front of you, but it requires courage to walk through it. Stay present, breathe, and do not turn away, because you are on the brink of discovering why things had to happen exactly the way they did. For a long time, you have carried heavy doubts about this person. You have asked yourself in the quiet hours if they truly loved you, if they valued you, if they understood the depth of what you feel, or if they simply left you behind as if you were just another page in a book they finished reading. But the truth that no one has ever told you is that this person never truly let go of you spiritually, even though physically they may have walked away. Even though they may have disappeared without a trace, and even though until today you have received no explanation that satisfies your heart, their energy remained with you. That connection, which you perhaps confused with simple nostalgia or unprocessed pain, was actually a signal. There was something pending, a spiritual deposit that you needed to discover only when the timing was divinely aligned. Today is that moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. There are objects, words, memories, gestures, and promises that do not die when someone leaves. They remain suspended in spiritual time, waiting until you are strong enough to understand their true meaning. If you feel your spirit strengthening as you listen, press the like button as an act of faith. This simple gesture signals to the spiritual realm that you are ready to accelerate the understanding of this mystery. Believe it or not, there is a message that has been waiting for you, hidden, guarded, and protected by the universe itself. Up until this instant, you may have believed that this person simply left an absence in your life, a painful void that nothing could fill. But I am here to tell you that they did not just leave an absence. They left a key. This is a key that unlocks an answer your soul has been begging for years to receive. You can likely feel it right now. That pressure in your chest, that slight shiver down your spine, that knot in your stomach, which is not fear, but recognition. Your spirit is reacting because it knows that this revelation belongs to you. It is possible that this person disappeared because they did not know how to express themselves, how to heal, how to stay, or how to love you without hurting you. Perhaps they were fighting their own internal demons, wrestling with wounds far deeper than you could see from the outside. You must realize that sometimes the person who leaves is not running away from you. They are running away from themselves. But even in their flight, even with all their internal battles, they decided on a soul level to leave you something that today feels like a message sent directly from heaven. This person knew, on a subconscious level, that a day would come when you would need a clear answer, a hope, a reason to keep going, and a spark to illuminate your path when the darkness felt overwhelming. Subscribe to this channel now as an act of spiritual obedience. By doing so, you secure your alignment with this new light and ensure you do not walk in darkness again. For that reason, before they disappeared into the shadows of their own journey, they left something behind, something that is exclusively for you. I want you to pay very close attention here. Nothing that you are hearing right now is arriving by error. If your spirit is reacting, if your mind is trying to connect the pieces, if your heart is suddenly flooding with fragments of memories involving this person, it is because something that has been asleep is being activated today. The divine is telling you to open your eyes, to open your soul, and to open your hands, because what that person left for you is not a burden, as you once thought, but a blessing. It is a blessing that has the power to release stagnant emotions, break generational spiritual patterns, and pull you out of the emotional blockage in which you have been trapped without realizing it. Before we continue deeper, I ask one thing of you. Do not close your heart to this message. Do not listen with haste. Do not let the distractions of the world pull you away. This moment is for you. If you are here, it is because heaven wants to speak to you. That person left a truth that they could not tell you face to face. It was a truth that, had it been spoken in the past, might have changed absolutely everything. But it is a truth that can only be revealed today without hurting you, without confusing you, and without breaking what God is trying to build in your new life. How many times have you asked for signs? How often have you prayed for clarity, for answers, for closure, for just a little bit of light to make sense of the confusion? Although you believed that answer would never arrive, today the sky is sending it to you through these words. Do not take this as a coincidence. Do not take this as a simple video or a random recording. Take it as a spiritual confirmation. That person left words that were never pronounced, feelings that were never confessed, and plans that never came to fruition. Although that reality made you carry guilt, doubts, and sadness, today God wants you to release all of that weight. What is coming for you now is what truly corresponds to you, which is total liberation. If you stay until the end, we will uncover exactly what it was that this person left for you. But first, you need to understand something fundamental about your history. You were not abandoned. You were prepared. Life had to remove that person from your path so that you could grow, heal, awaken, and become strong in your own light. What was left for you was not meant to make you suffer, but to force you to advance. That person left you a piece of truth, a pending decision, an emotional message that they could never deliver. Today, if you are willing to open your soul, you are going to receive something that can relieve you deeply. But you need to keep listening. Do not stop now. Do not ignore this feeling as you have done so many times before. Feel what you are feeling, because that emotion is the signal that the process has already begun. The revelation is active. Before we move to the next chapter of this spiritual story, I want you to repeat mentally to yourself, I am ready to receive what is mine. Let it be done. This simple phrase opens invisible doors. If you feel that this is arriving at the exact right moment, stay with me, because what I am going to reveal next will be even more intense. This message does not end here. It is barely beginning. As you move forward through this understanding, something inside you begins to shift in a different way, as if your senses are waking up to a reality that remained hidden for too long. It is possible that you are even feeling small flashes of memory, fragments of the past surfacing without you calling them. This is happening because your soul recognizes what is about to be revealed. What that person left for you is not material. It is not something physical that you can touch with your hands. It is something much more profound, more spiritual, and more powerful. It is a piece of your destiny that was put on pause until you were emotionally and spiritually prepared to comprehend its purpose. Today, this message is opening a portal that had been closed since the day that person disappeared from your life. You need to understand this step by step, without skipping anything, without distraction, and without minimizing what you are feeling. This journey is for you. There was a moment in your history with that person that marked a turning point, an instant that you did not notice at the time, but which now begins to take on immense meaning. It might have been a specific look, a word that seemed insignificant, a silent gesture, or a message you did not know how to interpret. That specific moment was when that person decided to leave you something. They did not do it from their mind. They did not do it from pride or fear. They did it from the soul. And the things that are born from the soul remain forever. Even if the body moves away, even if life changes, even if time passes, the soul's intent stays. That person knew that one day you would awaken spiritually, and that in that awakening, you would need a signal to propel you forward. That day is today, and that is why you are here. If your spirit recognizes that this is not a coincidence, but a divine appointment arranged by God to heal your heart, I invite you to pause for a second and type Amen in the comments. Let this be your first act of agreement with the healing that is about to take place in your life. For a long time, you carried questions without answers. You asked why that person acted the way they did. Why did they create distance? Why did they choose silence instead of clarity? You may have even come to believe that you had been replaced, forgotten, or ignored. But the truth is much more complex than simple rejection. That person did not leave because you did not matter. They left because they were afraid of destroying the purity they saw in you. Yes, fear. Fear of dragging you into their own shadows. Fear of contaminating your light. Fear of not being at your emotional or spiritual height. Sometimes the person who disappears is not the one who abandons. It is the one who feels unworthy. The one who feels they would do you more harm by staying. Therefore, before leaving, they left something for you. It was a kind of invisible amulet, an encapsulated energy a spiritually sealed message that life was waiting to hand over to you at the exact right moment. Today, that message is being activated. It does not matter how many years have passed, how much silence has occurred, or how many tears you have shed. Spiritual energy does not expire. It does not break. It remains intact until the divine moment of liberation arrives. What you feel in your chest as you hear these words, that weight mixed with a strange calm, that knot that is not quite sadness but not quite joy, is the signal that what that person left for you is trying to manifest. Do not reject it. Do not run away. Do not ignore this revelation as you have done other times when you preferred to flee from the pain. Today, you are not fleeing. Today, you are facing the truth. That person left something for you that can completely transform the way you view your past, your present, and your destiny. They left it because they knew a day would come when you would need to understand that you were never alone, that you were never a mistake in anyone's life, and that you were never a burden. As you advance further into this revelation, you may begin to notice that your spirit is reacting in ways that feel entirely new, perhaps even startling. It is as if an internal part of you, a chamber of your heart that had remained boarded up and sleeping for years, is suddenly waking up. It is reconnecting with a frequency that was suspended, silenced, or ignored. It is no accident that you are feeling this specific vibration right now. This gentle pressure in your chest, or that emotional impulse that seems to be trying to push tears to your eyes or force a deep exhale from your lungs. This physical reaction is happening because you are entering the deepest part of this spiritual story. You are moving past the surface level pain and diving into the ocean of truth. What that person left for you before disappearing is beginning to manifest in a more intense, clearer, and more direct way. Ensure you are aligned with this manifestation by subscribing now. It is a step of faith that anchors you in this flow of truth, securing your place in the new season. For this reason, today as you listen to these words, you are experiencing the first real effects of that energy which had been kept in reserve for you. That person did not leave without feelings, without intention, or without consciousness, even if it looked that way from the outside. They did not disappear like a ghost simply to haunt you. They disappeared to protect you. Within their silence, within their frustrating absence, and within the vast distance they placed between you, there was a hidden message. Although you did not know it at the time, that message was placed on your path like an invisible gift wrapped in thorns. There are certain spiritual truths that can only be received when your soul is fully ready, and not a moment before. You today, for the first time in a very long time, are strong enough to receive this truth without breaking apart. Like this video right now to declare your strength. Let this action be the spark that accelerates the divine healing in your heart, proving that you are no longer broken, but ready. Everything you are feeling now, that complex mixture of nostalgia, curiosity, relief, and nervousness, is the natural reaction when a deep emotional memory begins to release its grip on your cells. Do not be afraid of this feeling. Do not think you are imagining it. Your spirit always knows the truth long before your mind can process it. The truth is that this person left you a part of themselves that they were incapable of expressing physically. They left their recognition, they left their gratitude, and they left a spiritual intention that for years was blocked by their own fear, by the circumstances of life, and by the lack of emotional clarity that defined their existence at that time. That person saw things in you that you never gave yourself permission to see in yourself. Although they did not say it, although they did not demonstrate it with grand gestures, and although they did not deliver it in clear sentences before disappearing, they left something for you that is stronger than any material object or photograph. They left their silent admiration, It was an admiration that was not pronounced in time, that did not know how to translate itself into consistent actions, and that failed to become a constant presence in your life. But it existed. It existed truly and deeply. Because it was real, today it is returning to show itself to you without masks, without doubts, and without the interference of their human flaws. It is very possible that right now you are recalling very concrete moments with that person, instances that seemed completely normal at the time, but now, viewed from this spiritual distance, begin to reveal themselves as signs. Perhaps you remember the way they looked at you when they thought you weren't watching, a look of longing mixed with sadness. Maybe you remember a message that seemed strange or out of context, or how they sought you out emotionally, even while pushing you away physically. Those small, confusing details were the evidence of what they did not know how to express. Oh, it was precisely this unexpressed truth that remained for you. It is the truth that, in life, they did not have the courage or the clarity to deliver. But now that truth is emerging to set you free. What that person left for you before disappearing is not a reminder of pain. It is a permanent reminder of your own value. Without you knowing it, that person saw your immense capacity to love, your patience, your strength, your nobility, and your unique way of healing others even when you yourself were wounded. What was left for you was the confirmation that you were never just an option. You were never a replacement. You were never just someone else to pass the time with. You were important. You were unique. You were a luminous point in the life of someone who did not know how to hold on to the light because they lived surrounded by internal shadows. This brings us to a profound realization that your spirit needs to absorb. If that person disappeared, it was not because of you. It was not because you lacked something. It was not because you weren't enough. It was because they were fighting internal battles that you could not see and could not fight for them. When someone is broken on the inside, when they are full of unhealed wounds or crushing guilt, they do not know how to stay. They do not know how to receive pure love. They do not know how to handle the responsibility of a genuine connection. Therefore, before disappearing, they made the most painful decision, but also the most honest one, to leave you something you could receive without their physical presence, something that would serve you to grow, to heal, and to evolve. That something is a spiritual seed. This seed is germinating today, and although you cannot see it with your physical eyes, your soul is already feeling the roots taking hold. This seed contains the recognition they never gave you. It contains the validation your heart desperately needed. It contains the truth your soul has been seeking all these years, that you mattered. You were loved, even if clumsily. You left a mark that time cannot erase. What that person left for you is the deepest proof that your love was never in vain, your dedication was never ignored, and your gestures were never invisible. That person saw them, valued them, stored them away, and even though they did not know how to sustain them, they carried them with them. That is why today you are receiving this revelation, because your soul deserves to close that cycle with love, not with bitterness. But before we reveal completely what this spiritual legacy means for your future, you need to understand something essential. You are not receiving this message out of simple nostalgia. You are receiving it by destiny. As you continue, you begin to feel that the pieces of an emotional puzzle, one you have been trying to solve for years without success, are finally snapping into place. It is not just a memory returning. It is a truth manifesting after being trapped in deep silence. What that person left for you before disappearing is beginning to take shape within your consciousness, freeing itself little by little from the layers of pain, confusion, and doubt that covered it for so long. Today, as you listen, that truth is finding a space inside you, a space that is finally prepared to hold it. That person, although physically distant, never ceased to be spiritually linked with you. From the day they disappeared, there was an internal struggle you could not see, a battle between what they wanted to give you and what they feared showing you. For that reason, they chose to leave something behind, a message, an energy, an intention, something you would not understand then, but which activates today with impressive force. Do not underestimate what you are feeling now. It is not imagination. It is soul recognition. Think about this. There are connections that life does not cut, even if time passes, even if the distance increases, and even if the paths separate. There are bonds that God protects because they are part of a greater purpose, even if there is no romantic ending, even if there is no physical reunion, and even if there is no logical explanation. You lived one of those connections. Therefore, when that person disappeared, they did not leave empty-handed, and they did not leave you empty-handed. They left a spiritual inheritance that is now calling you, asking you to open your heart and allow the truth to come to light. That person left for you something you did not expect, a silent emotional confession. It was not written, it was not spoken, it was not sent by text, it was transmitted from soul to soul. It was a confession that said, I did not leave you because you meant nothing. I left you because you meant too much. It was a confession that also said, I was never indifferent to you. I was insecure. Think about that for a moment. How many times did you believe you weren't enough? How many times did you think they didn't love you, didn't value you, didn't choose you? How many tears did you shed asking yourself what you did wrong or what you could have done better? But today, the revelation arrives to shatter that wrong narrative. You were not the reason for their disappearance. You were the reason for their internal conflict. If you are ready to release the lie that you were not enough and accept the truth that your light was simply too bright for their shadows, declare it publicly. Go to the comments and type, I am enough. Seal this truth in your spirit right now. Because loving without knowing how to love hurts. Because desiring to be close without knowing how to sustain intimacy wounds. Because wanting to surrender without feeling worthy makes people run away. What that person left for you is the truth you sought for so long. You were loved, even if they never said it. You were valuable, even if they never demonstrated it. You were important, even if they never had the courage to stay. Now, that truth wants to liberate you, because for years you carried an emotional burden that never belonged to you. The burden of guilt. Today, that guilt is being ripped from your spirit so that you can finally advance without that unfair weight. That person disappeared not because you were too little, but because you were too much, and they did not know how to hold what you offered. But the most shocking thing of all is that this person left something more than just recognition. They left an energy destined to propel you. It is an energy that was blocked while you lived tied to unanswered questions, and today it is released to push you toward a higher level of spiritual and emotional life. It is as if the universe is returning to you something that felt stolen, as if you are being told, what you gave was not in vain. All of that will be returned to you multiplied. Do you receive that promise? Like this video to claim that multiplication. It is a prophetic act that accelerates the return of everything the enemy tried to steal from you. For that reason, in this moment, you might start to feel a current of internal strength. Maybe it is subtle, maybe it is intense, but it is there. It is the signal that what that person left is integrating into your soul. Although you cannot see it yet, that energy is bringing with it something that will change your life. Clarity, It is the clarity that will allow you to understand why your heart would not heal. The clarity to accept that you were not abandoned, you were protected. The clarity to forgive without losing your self-respect. The clarity to close a cycle without closing your heart to future love. The clarity to let go without forgetting the lessons. The clarity to advance without dragging someone else's shadows. Now I want you to pay attention to this. If you are here today listening to this message, it is not because an algorithm decided it. It is not because you were bored. It is not because it simply appeared on your screen. You are here because God and your spirit agreed that this revelation had to arrive right now, at this exact moment of your life. You are at a point where you need to make space for the new, and you cannot do that while you are guarding doubts from the past. This person left one last thing before disappearing, and this is perhaps the most powerful of all. They left you an impulse toward your destiny. That is to say, they left you an emotional shove so that you would not stay tied to a story that could no longer continue. This was not a punishment. This was not abandonment. This was preparation. Your soul has a great path, a clean path, a path that requires you to release that which could not accompany you any further. That impulse is what you are feeling today, as if something inside you is saying, do not look back anymore. What is coming is greater. Maybe you feel it as relief, maybe as a new strength, maybe as a silent understanding, but you are feeling it. And that is the activation of the spiritual legacy they left. Permit me to tell you something with all my heart. What is coming for you after healing this cycle is something immense. It is something that will elevate you. It is something that will open doors that were welded shut. It is something that will give you what you never received before. Reciprocity. But to arrive there, you need to follow this message to the end. Do not stop now. Do not close this video. Do not get distracted. This is not entertainment. This is divine revelation. If you are here, it is because your spirit is receiving a direct call. As you continue to absorb this truth, you begin to perceive that something inside you is reorganizing spiritually. It is as if a gentle but powerful force is ordering your emotions, memories, silences, and scattered fragments of your history. This is happening because you have already crossed through the densest layers of pain, confusion, and abandonment. Now you are entering the highest part of the message. Today, finally, you are ready to comprehend the true purpose of what that person left for you before disappearing. And what you are going to discover next is not just an explanation, it is an activation. What that person left was not an object. It was not a letter. It was not a material memory. It was a purpose. It was a purpose that could not be revealed before because you were not emotionally prepared to hold it. And although for a long time you believed that this disappearance was a loss, in reality, it was a liberation that had to occur so that life could position you exactly where you are today. That person had a role in your life, but not to stay. Their role was to propel you, to wake you up, to be the beginning of a spiritual process that is now entering its most powerful phase. If I close my eyes and feel your energy in this moment, I perceive clearly that you are no longer in the same emotional place where you were years ago. You evolved. You strengthened yourself. You molded yourself in silence. You learned to stand up without anyone watching. You learned to cry without witnesses. You learned to keep going when your soul was about to give up. And that is exactly what that person saw before disappearing. That you had a destiny too big to stay stuck in a connection that could no longer offer you what you deserved. Today, I reveal to you what that person left for you. They left you a divine push toward your purpose. This means that their departure was not an act of abandonment. It was a signal from heaven to activate your true destiny. Although you did not know it at the time, although it hurt, and although you felt as if you were breaking apart internally, that exit opened a space that life desperately needed in order to place you on the correct path. If that person had remained, you would never have advanced to the spiritual level where you stand today. Think about everything you have lived through since that disappearance. Do you remember how it forced you to grow? Do you remember how it made you wake up to your own resilience? Do you remember how it compelled you to leave behind old versions of yourself that no longer served you? That was not a coincidence. That was purpose. Life needed to shake you, to empty you, and to fragment you, not to destroy you, but to reconstruct you with a strength you would never have discovered if that person had stayed. Subscribe now to solidify this reconstruction. It is an act of obedience that positions you to receive the full weight of the destiny that is waiting for you. Therefore, their exit was part of your destiny, and what they left for you is something sacred, the activation of your spiritual mission. That person, whether consciously or unconsciously, left a frequency of energy behind that is now awakening your true purpose. This purpose has to do with something very deep within you, your capacity to illuminate, to transform, and to elevate others. Do not doubt this for a second. Do not minimize your value. What you lived through was not random. What you lost was not a loss. What hurt was not a punishment. Everything was preparation. Life was preparing you for this exact moment. And today, at last, you have arrived. But there is something even more powerful here. That person left for you a call to spiritual ascension. This call activates when someone moves away so that you can find yourself without distractions. Today, you are beginning to hear it. It is a whisper that tells you to wake up because you are no longer who you were, and your time has come. The most impressive part is that this spiritual legacy does not only open doors inside you, it opens doors in your physical life. From this moment on, you will start to notice things you did not see before. You will experience clearer intuitions, synchronicities that seem like messages, people arriving at the exact right moment, and opportunities you missed before. You will find thoughts that propel you instead of sinking you. You will find emotional strength where before there was only emptiness. You will find confidence where before there was fear. All of this is the signal that you are entering your purpose, and that purpose was activated by what that person left before disappearing. But here comes an even deeper part. That person left you an energetic closure, not necessarily an emotional one, but a spiritual one. This closure has an extremely important function. It prevents you from carrying chains that do not belong to you. When a connection cannot continue, life does not cut it as a punishment. It cuts it for protection. You could not continue to be linked to someone who did not have the emotional capacity to care for you, value you, or correspond to you at the level you deserve. Therefore, although it hurt you to the core, today you can see that this exit was a way to free you from a destiny that would have limited you. What that person left for you, you can now see with clarity. They left you the permission to advance. Yes, although they never said it, although they never expressed it, although they never gave you a formal goodbye, their soul left you a silent message. Go on. Do not stop for me. Your light is too big to stay waiting. That is the strongest truth of all. That is the truth that today your soul recognizes. That is the truth that opens your purpose. Now ask yourself, why are you reading this today and not before? Why do you understand now what you never managed to comprehend? Why do you feel this revelation so intensely? Because today you are ready to receive the purpose they left you. Let me tell you something important. What comes in your life after this revelation will be expansive, it will be elevated, And it will be transformative, because today, you are letting go of the weight that stopped you from moving forward. When a soul lets go, it becomes a magnet. It becomes a magnet for blessings, for opportunities, for healthy relationships, and for abundance. Your path opens today, not tomorrow. Your purpose activates today, not later. Your new life begins today. But to receive completely what I am going to reveal, you need to understand the magnitude of what is happening. As you advance, you begin to perceive that the pieces of this puzzle are not just emotional, they are tangible. You are entering the part of the message where heaven begins to show you the concrete blessings that will arrive in your life thanks to what that person left for you before disappearing. Because yes, their departure hurt. Yes, it fractured you in silence. Yes, it left you with questions that burned inside. But today, you understand something deeper. That person did not leave to destroy you. They left to open your hands and allow life to hand you something much better. What that person left before disappearing was a spiritual key, a key that did not open a door to the past, but to your future. Now we are going to talk about what that key opens, about what today begins to manifest in your life, about the specific blessings that are aligned with your new vibration. Prepare yourself, because this is strong. The first blessing is a new abundance that you had not experienced before that person disappeared. You were in an emotional cycle that drained you, that stole your energy, and that made you live from a place of affective lack. When the soul lives from emotional lack, it also blocks material abundance. It is as if your spirit were carrying extra weight that prevented prosperity from entering. But today, because that connection is closed spiritually, that weight is released and abundance begins to flow. I am not speaking only of money, although that will also arrive, but of abundance in all its forms. Unexpected work opportunities, income that appears without explanation, doors that open after years of being closed, awakened creativity, solutions to problems that seem stuck, and ideas that attract prosperity. The blessing activates today because that person left a free space in your energy. Before there was no room, now there is. The second blessing is a profound inner peace. This is one of the most sacred blessings you will receive. That person left you something without knowing it. The capacity to choose your peace above any bond. While you were connected to that story, you lived with anxiety, doubts, fear of abandonment, and a constant search for answers that never arrived. That energy kept you at war with yourself. But today, thanks to what that person left, your soul receives peace. It is a mature peace, a peace that does not depend on anyone, a peace that is born from understanding that you deserve calm, you deserve stability, and you deserve to feel good. This peace will not be temporary. It will be a permanent state. What used to trigger you will no longer have power. What used to hurt you will no longer have access to your heart. What used to tie you down now frees you. That is the blessing of inner peace, and it begins today. If you receive this peace that surpasses all understanding, and you are ready to stop fighting wars that do not belong to you, type Amen below. By typing it, you are opening the spiritual door for this tranquility to enter your home today. The third blessing is a new connection that is truly destined for you. And here, you need to breathe deeply before listening further, because this is one of the strongest blessings. The disappearance of that person was not the end of your love story. It was the beginning. They were a chapter, not the whole book. That person left an empty space in your life, but that space was not meant to stay empty. It was meant to be filled by someone who is truly destined for you. Someone who will know how to hold you, value you, honor you, and accompany you without fear, without doubts, and without hiding behind excuses or unhealed wounds. This new connection will be different from everything you lived before. It will be stable, yet exciting. It will be deep, yet light. It will be sincere, yet intense. It will be spiritual, yet real. It will be reciprocal, not one-sided. If you are ready for a love that honors you, hit the like button as an act of faith. Accelerate the arrival of the connection you truly deserve by declaring that you will no longer settle for less. The fourth blessing is the liberation from emotional karma. What that person left for you before disappearing was a karmic closure, a definitive cut with the pattern you repeated for years. Giving more than you received, loving without being corresponded, sacrificing yourself to not lose someone, retaining bonds that wore you down, trying to save someone who did not want to heal. That cycle ended today. That person was the last chapter of a karmic stage that life did not want to continue. What comes now resembles nothing of the past. Your soul is liberated, your energy is cleansed, and your path is opened. That is one of the most powerful blessings, breaking forever the cycle of emotional pain. On the fifth blessing is the opening of your spiritual mission. Yes, you have a mission, even if you do not believe it, even if you have not always seen it. What that person left before disappearing awakened in you gifts that had been asleep. High intuition, spiritual perception, energetic sensitivity, the capacity to guide or heal others, emotional clarity, internal strength, and wisdom you did not have before. All of that activates today because when an important connection breaks, the soul enters into expansion, and that expansion opens what was closed. It turns you into someone more conscious, more intuitive, and more connected with their purpose. From this moment on, you will start to feel a call, an impulse, a purpose that invites you to advance, to grow, and to impact the world. Do not ignore it. Do not minimize it. It is real. It is part of the blessing they left you. Now I want you to understand something essential. Blessings do not arrive because you stay tied to the past. They arrive because today you are ready to receive what is yours. Everything that person left before disappearing had a purpose. And that purpose is being fulfilled right in front of your eyes. It was not abandonment. It was preparation. It was not loss. It was ascent. It was not punishment. It was destiny. And today you start to see the fruits of that transformation. But there is still something deeper, something you need to hear before closing this cycle of revelation. There is a final message that this person left spiritually for you. It is the strongest message, the most luminous, and the most liberating. In this point of the message, you are no longer the same person who began this journey. Your energy changed, your perception changed, and your soul opened to truths it had been waiting years to understand. You have been breaking layers of fear, guilt, pain, and confusion that kept you trapped in a cycle of the past. And now, today, finally, we are entering the part where the sky begins to show you the ultimate reason for their silence. It is the message that could not be spoken with human words, because at that moment, they did not have the strength or the clarity to do so. But the soul always speaks, even when the mouth is silent. And today, that message finally reaches you. It may be that a part of you still asks why they had to go, why they didn't say what they felt, why they disappeared without explanations. This block answers those questions from the deepest root of the spirit. The message that person left you without saying a word is this: forgive me for leaving like this, but I didn't know how to stay. That is the core of the message, and I know that upon hearing it, your heart felt it. That person did not leave because they didn't love you. They left because they didn't know how to handle what they felt. They didn't know how to give you what you deserved. They didn't know how to face their own internal chaos without hurting you. And so, without knowing how to do it better, they chose to disappear. They chose silence. They chose distance. But it was a choice that hurt them. It hurt them more than you imagine, because although they never told you, that person felt your absence just as much as you felt theirs. And the message continues: I moved away because I didn't want to drag you into my shadows. You were light, and I didn't know how to hold that light without breaking it. Yes, your energy was too luminous for someone who still lived surrounded by wounds. You had clarity where that person had confusion. You had love where they had fear. You had surrender where they had doubts. And here comes an even stronger part of the message. You were never insufficient. It was I who was not ready. How many times did your mind make you believe that it was you who didn't fit, that it was you who wasn't enough, that it was you who should have done something different? But today, the truth is revealed. It was never you. That person left that spiritual message to free you from a weight that did not correspond to you. For years, you carried insecurities that were not yours. You blamed yourself for decisions that were never yours. You cried for silences that were not born from your lack of value, but from their internal wounds. And today, that message arrives to heal you. Oh, there is another part of the message that your soul needed to hear. This message is not soft. It is intense. It is emotional. It is the truth your spirit had asked for so long. If I had stayed, I would have hurt you more. This phrase is a revelation because often the soul wishes for someone to stay, but it does not understand that sometimes presence destroys more than absence. That person knew, although not consciously, that if they stayed, they would break your heart in a way that could not be repaired. Their wounds, their traumas, their fears, their toxic patterns, their emotional instability, all of that would have ended up damaging your soul, and for that reason, they moved away. Their departure was an act of protection, although disguised as abandonment. Their disappearance was an act of love, clumsy, imperfect, silent, but love in the end. Because leaving is also a way of caring, when staying means destroying. If this revelation resonates with your soul, and you finally understand that their absence was actually a form of divine protection over your life, type Amen in the comments. Give thanks to God for protecting you from pain you could not see. And finally, of all the things that person wanted to leave you before disappearing, there is a final message. A message that your soul must receive today, without fear and without resistance. Keep going, because you are destined for something great. That is the true legacy. That is the true gift. That was the true intention of their departure. Their presence could not accompany you where your soul is destined to reach, but their absence opened the path. That person left this message so that you would not stay tied to a story that could no longer grow. They left this message so that you could advance without feeling guilt. They left this message so that you would know that you deserve more than what that connection could give you. And it continues saying, do not stay waiting for me. Do not look back again. What is coming for you is bigger than what I could have been in your life. We have arrived at the point where the revelation stops speaking about your past and begins to speak with thunderous clarity about your future. This is the block where the pieces begin to align, not just spiritually, but also in your physical reality. You are finally understanding that the disappearance of that person was not a tragic ending, but a strategic movement of the heavens to position you in your true destiny. Until now, you have received the emotional truth, the spiritual purpose, and the silent message that person left for you. But what comes now is the most critical part of this entire journey. How this legacy transforms your future starting today. Breathe deeply, relax your shoulders, and open your soul. Because we are entering the part where your spiritual path begins to reveal itself with a clarity you have never possessed before. Your future begins here. When an important connection breaks, the soul enters a state of expansion. When a wound heals, it releases space. When an emotional cycle closes, a new energetic cycle begins. That is exactly what is happening with you right now. What that person left before disappearing, all that awakening, that impulse, that clarity, that purpose, now begins to move toward your future. And it will do so in a way that is going to surprise you, because you will notice it in very specific areas of your existence. We are talking about your emotional life, your financial life, your spiritual life, and your life's mission. This final chapter is about how each one of those areas begins to transform from this day forward. First, consider your emotional life. A new version of you is being born in this very moment. Before that person disappeared, your heart lived divided between what you wanted and what you feared. You lived between deep desires and old wounds, between high expectations and crushing disappointments. But today, thanks to what that connection left in you, your heart enters a new state of emotional maturity. This means that you will no longer settle for emotional crumbs. You will no longer chase anyone. You will no longer accept half-loves. You will no longer carry wounds that belong to others. And you will no longer break yourself for someone who does not know how to hold you. You will no longer look outside for what is born inside of you. Today, your heart is reborn. And that rebirth turns you into someone stronger, more conscious, more selective, and surer of their value. The future of your emotional life will be completely different, because today you are no longer vibrating in lack, but in emotional abundance. When a soul is emotionally aligned, it attracts completely different connections. Next, look at your spiritual life, which is entering its final awakening. What that person left in you before disappearing activated your spiritual gifts. But today, that activation enters its highest phase. This means that your intuition will no longer be a whisper. It will be a loud, clear guide. Your presentiments will become precise. You will have revealing dreams. You will feel vibrations that you did not perceive before. You will interpret signs with clarity. You will know how to distinguish what is for you and what is not. You are entering a stage where your spirit becomes your compass. This is powerful because it will allow you to avoid unnecessary pain, identify opportunities with ease, and align yourself with your life mission without confusion. Your connection with the divine will be stronger than ever. You will feel protection, guidance, and presence, and it will not be an illusion. It will be purpose. What that person left in you opened a spiritual door that will never close again. Then there is your financial life, the flow that had been blocked. This is something few people understand, but your heart affects your prosperity. When your energy is charged with pain, attachment, confusion, or nostalgia, you block opportunities without realizing it. But today, after everything you have let go of, your energy has elevated, and when energy rises, abundance flows. From today on, you will see unexpected income, new job opportunities, ideas that generate value, doors that open without effort, quick solutions to financial problems, and growth where before there was only stagnation. Your prosperity was stopped because your emotions were stopped. But today your soul has liberated itself, and life reflects that. The disappearance of that person opened a void, and today that void is filled with abundance. Subscribe to align yourself with this flow of abundance. It is your way of telling the universe you are open, ready, and positioned for the overflow that is coming. If you believe that God is restoring everything the enemy tried to steal, and that a season of overflow is beginning in your life, claim it by typing, "I receive my abundance." Do not just think it, write it down as a prophetic act of faith. Finally, your life mission, the purpose that had been hidden from you. What that person left in you activated something that goes far beyond love, loss, or healing. It activated your spiritual direction. For that reason, in the coming days, you will notice a strong impulse inside you. You will feel a desire to help, to guide, to create, to advance, to start something new, to break patterns, and to fulfill what your soul came here to do. Do not resist this feeling. That impulse is not anxiety, it is purpose. It is your soul saying, "My time has come." That person was just a chapter. Your purpose is the entire book, and today you begin to write it from a new energy. The future that awaits you is radically different. This message exists so that you understand one thing. You are no longer condemned to repeat the past. You are no longer trapped in cycles of pain. You are no longer destined to live from wounds. Now you are walking toward real connections, concrete opportunities, growing abundance, emotional peace, elevated intuition, divine protection, and active purpose. That person did not destroy your life. They pushed it forward. They did not steal anything from you. They liberated you. They did not break you. They prepared you. And today your future opens like never before. But there is one more detail, a detail that will completely change your understanding of this history. It is a detail not about them, but about you. If you have listened this far, it is because your spirit was truly prepared to receive this complete revelation. Not everyone makes it this far. Many people stay in the pain, others in the confusion, others in the nostalgia. But you did not. You advanced, you opened your soul, you listened, you allowed yourself to feel, and now you are about to receive the greatest gift that person left for you before disappearing. This is the gift that is most hidden, most profound, and most powerful. It is the one that will forever change the way you see yourself and the way you walk toward your destiny. The most important gift that person left you is your true identity. Yes, exactly as you hear it. That person did not just leave a message, or a lesson, or a closure. They left something much bigger. They left you the path to your true identity. For years, without you noticing, you lived constructing an image of yourself based on what you gave, on how hard you tried, on what you delivered, on what you did for others. You sought value in your capacity to love, to sustain, to be there for others. But you did not see yourself. You did not recognize yourself. You did not understand who you really were because you were too busy trying to make that person see you, choose you, or understand you. For that reason, their departure opened the space you needed to find yourself. That person left an absence that forced you to rediscover your presence. They left silence so that you could hear your own voice. They left a void so that you could fill yourself with you. They left a wound so that you could discover your strength. They left confusion so that you could find clarity. They left doubts so that you could build certainty. What they left in you, without wanting to, without knowing it, without planning it, was the road back to your true identity. This identity, which you forgot, which you never developed, today resurges. And this identity has 3 elements that your soul is starting to awaken. The first element is your inner power. Before that disappearance, you doubted yourself too much. You lived from a place of questioning your own worth. Am I enough? Do I deserve this? But that person, by leaving, left a spiritual impulse that today shows you that you were always enough, even if they didn't show it. You always had power, even if they didn't recognize it. You were always strong, even if no one said it. And now, after this entire process, your inner power has activated. It is a power that is not arrogance or ego. It is a quiet, firm, luminous power that will make you walk with security. You will never again allow someone to treat you as an option. You will never again live begging for clarity. You will never again shrink yourself so that others feel big. Your inner power is reborn, and that power was the greatest gift the absence left. The second element is your personal value. This is deep. You did not know how much you were worth because you measured yourself with the eyes of others. You measured yourself by the attention you received, the way they treated you, the interest of the one you wanted, the effort of the one who didn't know how to love you. That person, without meaning to, kept you in a small version of yourself, a version limited by need, fear, and insecurity. But when they disappeared, they left a space where your true value began to show itself. That value does not depend on anyone. It does not depend on someone staying. It does not depend on someone loving you. It does not depend on someone choosing you. That value was in you always, but you needed to lose something to find yourself. Today, your value expresses itself in your way of walking, speaking, feeling, deciding, choosing. Your value is your new identity. Like this video to seal your new identity in the spiritual realm. By doing so, you accelerate the manifestation of your true worth in the physical world. The third element is your destiny. This is the deepest and most elevated gift. That person was not destined to be your future. They were destined to be your impulse. Sometimes destiny uses people who will not stay, but who will be fundamental to taking you to the next level. That connection was a door, but you are the one who walks the path. Today, thanks to everything you lived, your destiny reveals itself. It is a destiny where you receive reciprocal love, a destiny where you are respected and valued, a destiny where they do not break you, they build you, a destiny where they do not extinguish you, they illuminate you, a destiny where blessings do not escape, they arrive, a destiny aligned with your spiritual mission, a destiny where your soul can rest and advance. That person did not take you to your destiny. They left you in front of it. And today, your mission is to advance without fear. After all this revelation, there remains a phrase that summarizes this entire process. A phrase your soul needed to hear for years. What you lost was not your end. It was your beginning. If you believe that your best days are not behind you, but right in front of you, and you trust that God has saved the best wine for last, type a loud amen in the comments. Let the heavens hear your agreement with your new destiny. That is the most important message. That is the gift. That is the key your soul receives today. The beginning of your real identity, the beginning of your true destiny, the beginning of your luminous future, the beginning of a life where you are no longer anyone's shadow, but the light of your own path. Today, you start again, but not from pain, but from expansion. Today, you are born again, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. You have reached the final moments of this journey, and if you are here, it is not coincidence, it is not accident, it is not chance. Your soul chose to reach this point. Your spirit pushed so that you would not stop halfway. Your heart, tired but brave, decided it deserved to hear the complete truth. This block is different. This block is sacred. This block closes a cycle of years in your life. This block hands you the final revelation that you could never receive before, but that arrives today to liberate you once and for all. You have understood the purpose, the departure, the healing, the blessings, and your identity. Now it is time to understand the greatest thing of all. What does what that person left for you represent spiritually? Because this is not just any message. This is a message that touches your destiny. A message that becomes a bridge between your past and your future. A message your soul will remember for your entire life. The supreme revelation is this. What that person left in your life was a key of rebirth. That person did not just leave a memory or an incomplete story or a void or a silence. They left a key that did not open doors to the past, but to the life that begins for you today. That key was asleep inside you for years, waiting, guarded, protected, silent. It could only activate when you were ready. And today, in this exact moment, it activates. What does this key open? It opens your rebirth. It opens the door to your new version, your true identity, your active purpose, your liberated abundance, your aligned destiny, your luminous future, your new connections, your deep peace, your spiritual clarity, your inner power. That person was only the carrier of the key. They did not come to stay. They came to hand you the beginning of your transformation, and upon leaving, they dropped exactly what your soul needed to evolve. For that reason, today you understand something you could never comprehend before. Losing that person was finding your path. Their absence was your rebirth. Their silence was your call to destiny. Their departure was your ascent. Your new life begins today, not tomorrow. This is the moment where everything aligns. This is the point where your soul stops looking back. This is the instant where you understand that what you lived was not punishment, it was preparation. Your new life begins today because your heart has already liberated itself from the emotional cycle. Your mind has understood the truth. Your spirit has awakened. Your energy has elevated. Your mission has activated. Your soul has closed the chapter. Your destiny is ready to receive you. What that person left before disappearing was a seed that germinated with pain, but blooms today with power. Subscribe now to lock in this power. It is an act of obedience that secures your walk in this new path of light, ensuring that this rebirth is permanent. And now I am going to tell you something that your spirit needs to hear with absolute clarity. You are not destined to repeat the history of the past. You are destined to live something completely new. The love that comes for you will be reciprocal. The peace that comes for you will be stable. The abundance that comes for you will be constant. The connection that comes for you will be healthy. The life that comes for you will be luminous. Your future does not look like your past. Your soul knows it. Your heart feels it. Your destiny confirms it. To fully seal this revelation in your life, your soul must embrace three things: forgiveness, gratitude, and liberation. Do not carry hate for what happened. That person did what they could with what they had. Their departure was part of your destiny. Be grateful, because thanks to that experience, today you are stronger, wiser, and more conscious. That person was a bridge, not an obstacle. And finally, liberation. Let go. Do not hold on. Do not wait. Do not return. The past has fulfilled its role. The new is calling you. This is the sacred closure of the cycle. This is the end of the wound. This is the beginning of your luminous life. Before I say goodbye, I want to ask you for something profound, something symbolic, something that will spiritually activate what you received today. Subscribe right now to the channel, activate the notifications, and write in the comments these three powerful words. Today, I rebirth. Because yes, today you are reborn. Not from pain, not from loss, not from emptiness, but from purpose. This story did not break you. It revealed you. It reconstructed you. It elevated you. And now your new life begins. Today, after traversing this message from beginning to end, your soul is no longer the same. Something inside you woke up. Something reorganized. Something liberated itself. The pieces that were broken began to fit. The shadows that accompanied you dissipated. And the truth you waited for so many years finally emerged to the surface. Now you understand that the departure of that person was not a loss, but a rebirth hidden under the veil of pain. It was not emptiness. It was preparation. It was not abandonment. It was direction. What remained for you before they disappeared was exactly what you needed to become who you are destined to be today. From this moment, your spiritual path changes completely. Doors open that had been closed for a long time. Chains break that prevented you from advancing, and a new energy begins to accompany you, guiding every step you take forward. You no longer walk with fear. You no longer walk with doubts. You no longer walk with open wounds. Now you walk with purpose, with conviction, with strength, and with a renewed identity that shines in you like never before. And the most beautiful thing is that everything that is coming, abundance, peace, true love, new connections, unexpected opportunities, responds directly to this transformation that you embrace today with an open heart. So as you finish listening, do not close your soul. This is just the beginning of your new history. Your rebirth begins today, not tomorrow. The universe has already heard your willingness. God has already seen your healing, and your spirit has already chosen to advance. If you want to keep walking this path of light, revelation, protection, and divine abundance, subscribe right now and join me in the next messages. Because today you were reborn, but the best is barely about to arrive. Write in the comments, "Today I rebirth," and let the sky be a witness to your transformation. Do not leave just yet. If this message touched your heart, imagine what awaits you as an exclusive member of our channel. By joining as a member, you will have access to special content and videos that are not available to everyone. You will receive personalized blessings, spiritual guidance, and unique messages prepared especially for you. As a member, you will be able to see videos before they are published to the public, receive notifications of exclusive premieres, and participate in a select community that seeks growth, faith, and miracles. Furthermore, you will have access to live transmissions and content designed to strengthen your spirit every week. Do not miss the opportunity to be part of this special circle. Become a member today and allow the divine to continue guiding and blessing your life in an even deeper way. Click on Join and discover everything that heaven has reserved only for those who say yes. And remember, blessings stagnate when they are kept, but they grow when they are given. Share this video now to extend this prophecy. As you bless others, God multiplies the favor upon your own house.